At Campbell Scientific, meeting client requirements is a top priority. As we strive to do this, we've introduced new features into our data loggers. Each new data logger receives a unique identification number, or UID. This number becomes the default password when connecting that data logger to the internet, or when connecting to that data logger through Wi-Fi or a USB connection. Clients also now have access to two new USB settings. The first, USB port not trusted, toggles whether or not a password is required when connecting to the data logger through the USB port. This simplifies accessing the data logger in a trusted location while requiring a password to access the data logger in other situations. USB disable allows the client to block any access through the USB port. In addition to these new data logger features, Device Configuration Utility 2.31 now includes a security check tool that runs a security audit of all data logger settings. UIDs are now assigned during manufacturing to new CR1000XE, CR6, Granite 6, CR350, and CR300 data loggers. New data loggers will have a QR code on their front label with a UID under the QR code. The QR code is used for onboarding the data logger to Campbell Cloud, which will be demonstrated in another video. The UID serves as a unique pre-programmed password. Data logger UIDs are set during the manufacturing process and cannot be created or altered by individual users. For compatible data loggers that do not have a UID, a new Campbell M2i platform tool and device configuration utility can be used to obtain one from Campbell Cloud. See the Campbell Scientific video on obtaining a UID for complete instructions for these data loggers. The UID is also visible in the data logger settings table in Device Configuration Utility. The UID is used in the following ways. By default, newly manufactured data loggers have their PAC bus encryption key set to the UID. The PAC bus encryption key can be edited, but it will revert to the UID anytime factory defaults are applied. Here is how the UID is used to secure remote connections over Ethernet protocols. HTTP accounts are only accessible with a password, which by default is the UID. Data loggers with built-in Wi-Fi default to create a network mode with the password set to the UID. FTP service is disabled, and the password is set to the UID. The new USB settings, USB port not trusted and USB disable, are available on all CR1000XE data loggers, and on the following data loggers with these operating system versions or later: CR1000X, OS 8, CR6, OS 14, Granite 6, OS 3. The USB port not trusted flag can be set to 0, false, or 1, true. If false, the port is trusted and the PAC bus encryption key is not required for USB connections. If true, a PAC bus encryption key is required for USB connections. The USB disable flag can also be set to 0, false, or 1, true. If false, the USB port is enabled. If true, the USB port is disabled. Next, I'll look at the security check tool in Device Configuration Utility. Starting with version 2.3, a security check is provided through Device Configuration Utility. This check helps identify areas where security can be improved. All suggestions shown in Device Configuration Utility are optional, and no changes will be made unless initiated by the user. For example, the utility may suggest a stronger password based on simple criteria. However, organizations are free to use their own password criteria. In general, green, blue, and red icons indicate password strength. Green, strong password. Blue, weak password. Red, no password set. The green, blue, and red icons may also show the potential severity of a security vulnerability. Green, good, no action needed. Blue, advisory information. Red, action recommended. The security check operates in real time. As I make changes to security issues, the security check will update to show the new status. PAC bus encryption is enabled by default. The default PAC bus encryption key is the UID. By default, direct USB connections do not require a PAC bus encryption key. If a security protocol requires secure USB connections, set the USB trusted host setting to 1, not trusted. When the USB port is set to Not Trusted, a PAC bus encryption key will be required for all USB connections. I can also completely disable USB by using the USB Disable setting. Anonymous HTTP access is disabled by default. However, HTTP will be accessible with admin as the username and the UID as the admin password. See Web Services in the Data Logger manual for more information. FTP is disabled by default. However, when enabled, the UID will be the default FTP password. While the password can be changed from the UID, resetting the data logger to factory defaults or installing a new OS will revert the password back to the UID. Caution: passwords may be changed from the default UID. However, when the data logger is reset to factory defaults or a new OS is sent, the default password will revert to the UID. Finally, to ensure the data logger has the latest security features, check the Manage OS tab for any important updates.